Welcome, readers. Today on Book Chat, we are diving into our 2021 reading goals, and we're also sharing some of our highly anticipated releases of this year. Stay tuned. Today's episode is sponsored in part by audiobooks.com. Audiobooks.com now has 175,000 titles and 1.2 million podcasts. New customers get 3 free audiobooks comprised of 1 premium credit and 2 VIP titles. Use our promo code SHELFADDICTION, spelled as one word, when you sign up at audiobooks.com. Again, our promo code is SHELFADDICTION. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Tamara Ford, and welcome to Book Chat here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Participate in this discussion by joining the Facebook group Shelf Addiction Official. I hope to hear your thoughts on today's topic. You can always find me and Casey on Twitter and Instagram. The links for everything I've mentioned are below in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with some book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. That would really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing so. The uncut video version of this podcast is available now on Patreon. Join us there for exclusive videos, including after shows and more. So if you're interested in that at all, you'll need to come on over to Patreon and sign up. Without further ado, let's get started. We've got a lot to cover today, so we are going to jump right on in. Joining me is feature co-host Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Yay, me too. 2021. We're in a new time, new place.
Yes. A much better year, hopefully.
Oh, let's cross all the fingers and all the toes. Yeah. So we have new books, new goals, all that fun stuff. So we might as well jump into it because we got a lot.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Let's start with our goals.
Okay.
Because you know me, I don't love, official goals because I kind of feel like, most resolutions, quote unquote, people forget by Valentine's Day.
Oh, yes.
But reading goals, I feel like, I'm not mad if I don't meet them necessarily, but there's something to strive for, right? I don't want to turn it into a job, so I don't want to get too crazy about it, but it's fun to meet goals as well. So why not?
I know.
Okay, you first.
Okay. So I'm sticking with my typical goal of reading 200 books for fun a year. I did half that last year, so I'm not really upset at myself if I fail. It's just let's power through my to be read pile because that's insane. It is insane. But I am going to do things a little differently this year. Usually I say, I'll just read whatever, whenever. But this year I'm actually going to categorize it and say, I want to read 25 paranormal romance books. I want to read 25 urban fantasy books. I want to read 25 contemporary, 25 steampunk, et cetera, all the way through.
Wow.
And I'm including memoirs for the first time and nonfiction, but 5 of each, not 25, because I usually don't read these books. So,
I wish you luck on that because, 2019, I did one nonfiction title a month here on the podcast. And I thought it was fun, but by the time December rolled around, I was like, oh my God. So I didn't read really any nonfiction last year. So I might read some more again, but I read more for escapism.
Read one a month one a year. One a year. And so I actually want to try a little more. I'm my goal is 5 nonfiction.
5 total or 5 of each?
5 total, 5 nonfiction.
Okay. Yeah. Well, memoirs is a good category, I think, because some of those are really good. Some of them are really well done.
Yes.
And I think I enjoy those more than how-tos or self-helps per se.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I also discovered last year graphic novel memoirs. I didn't know that was a genre before, which is kind of silly. But yeah, I know I discovered that last year and I really enjoyed it. So
I didn't know that was a thing either.
It's a thing.
I'm going to have to look it up now because I'm like, graphic novel about yourself?
Yeah. No, I read one about a woman who immigrated from Vietnam to America. And it was really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to check that out. I do like how you're putting your spin on it, because I put a spin on mine too.
Okay, good. Let's hear it.
So my goal is nowhere near as ambitious as yours. I only have 62 books down for the year, which I have not even started yet. But my goal is, so the one twist I have on it is that I want to make sure that every 2021 book that I add to my TBR is read, because I want to be real intentional with what I'm adding to my TBR list, because usually I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Add. And before you know, I've added like 60 books and there's no way I'm reading those, right?
Yep. Oh, I do that.
Yes.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, every 2021 book I add will be read this year.
That's smart.
Yes. And then the second thing I threw in there is I noticed I really don't read male authors. It's so rare. So rare. So I just wanted to make sure I read 2, maybe 3 in the mix, because, you know, I don't know. I just don't read it that often. I figure I'll give the guys a chance this year. I might find something. You never know.
I also very rarely read male authors, but Alexis Hall, who wrote Boyfriend Material, is a male author. And that was my favorite book of last year, which is so, again, absurd because I never read male authors. So,
you know what? I just assumed she was a woman. I assumed he was a woman. Because it was your choice. So I thought it was a woman.
Yeah, no, it usually is a woman, but Alexis Hall is a man. So, all right. Yes, I can give you some of his books as recommendations if you want.
Okay, bet. Because I'm like, I need to add a few in, and not from nonfiction, because I think nonfiction is a different situation, but from fiction.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think I read one last year that was a male author, and me and Classy kind of shit all over it. Or maybe 2. Yeah, I think it was 2 last year. But I'm like, I'm going to try some new people.
Yeah.
So those are our goals. You guys let us know what your goals are for 2021, what your reading goals are. Or if you even set reading goals. I'd be curious to see what it would be like not to set one. But I'm like, I do it every year on Goodreads. It would be messed up if I didn't have one.
Exactly.
It would bother me to have a year missing. So I feel like I have to, just for that reason alone.
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't get crazy. You know, like we just said, we don't get crazy with it. Like, I think in the early days, back when I was like hardcore blogging, I'd have like an audiobook challenge, like a themed challenge. I'm I'm not doing all that garbage. That's just too much.
Yeah, no, back when I was doing literary escapism, in 2010 to 2012 time, we would come up with all these different challenges every year. We would have the new author challenge, we would have the paranormal challenge, and it would just get insane. It would be absolutely insane. But yeah, no, I like the idea of just like a generalized, here's the number I want to read, and let's just have fun with it and try and read a specific number of XYZ books.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I have to do this, I have to get this done, I have to be on top of everything.
Yeah, I feel like the harder or the more complex the challenge is, or the more intense it is, the less I want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I got enough stuff on my plate already. Don't give me a bunch of random challenges. I'm not going to want to do them at all. So
all those Pop Sugar and all those other websites where they're like, find a book that was written the year you were born, or set in this specific place, or has a specific thing. I'm like, every once in a while they'll have a good one, but
who has time to even research the book to find the book that fits in the categories? Like, what?
Yeah. Some of them are so absurd.
Yeah. Pass. So now that we got our goals out there, you guys can hold us accountable at the end of 2021 when we say we have been successful or not.
Or not.
So we also, since we're talking about new books today, we have our anticipated books of this year, 2021. And we actually have a few people that did a reader's react and gave us their, yes, they were excited to share a couple of books they were looking forward to reading this year. And because our lists were long, we cut them down for you. So you don't have to be here for 60 minutes listening to us ramble about book suggestions. Because mine's personally, I feel like it's going to be conversation about each one because so many of them are sequels and a part of series. Because I'm a series reader by nature. I just gravitate towards series.
And same authors. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So you probably won't be surprised if you listen regularly. You won't be surprised by several of these books. I mean, you might have one or two. Oh, okay. But if you listen regularly, you should be like, oh, that's on par for what Tamara reads. No surprise. And probably same for Casey.
Yeah. You guys know me at this point. None of this should be a surprise.
Right. Okay, well, let's get started. How about you go first?
Okay, my first one is Julie Kagawa's The Iron Raven, which comes out later this month. I am so excited for this book. Oh my God, I've been reading her since her first book came out in 2010, and we're finally getting more. Oh my God. Yay.
I do like her. I've read other things by her, and I still have yet to read the Iron Fae series, which is on my list to do. I feel like I will love it. I just need to get going.
Rereading them, they're very, very YA. Like they're good and I enjoy it. And rereading it, I'm still enjoying it. But it's very high school. It's very love triangle. It's very sweet, I guess I would say.
Okay.
Like I have very
I'm not sure then.
But
because I can but this year, like I've noticed in the past year, I've kind of strayed away from YA. Like I used to read a lot of YA. I go through phases with it. So I'm kind of in this phase right now where if it's too sugary sweet or if it's too young feeling, I don't really want to mess with it right now. I don't know why, but
if you're in that mood, pass. Like it's good. And I do recommend it for later, like when you're in that mood for the YA.
Okay. Good to know. All right. So one of mine's is Wicked All Night by Janine Frost. Y'all know that we love her on this show. We've read a lot of her titles here in 2020. This is the third book in the Night Rebel series, which is an offshoot of the Cat and Bone series. So we get to see more about Ian and Veritas, which I love them together. They're like my favorite. I mean, aside from Cat and Bones, I really like them because Veritas is badass and I love it.
Yes, she is. Yes. Can I put a little side note here? It's not on my top 6, but Janine Frost is publishing a novella with Cat and Bones this year, and it's going to be a brand new story. Okay. I'm so excited for that.
Oh, yeah.
Cat and Bones. It's coming out this year. It's not in my top 6. But that's just my little side.
Because I think it's in a book with other authors. Yeah,
it's an anthology.
Yeah.
I think Kelly Armstrong and Melissa Marr or somebody else. Like it's a short story, but it's new Cat and Bones. So I'm so excited to see what they're doing with their lives.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ian and Veritas hit shelves February 23rd. So if you're all about that, keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah. Okay, so my next pick comes from Alexis Hall, who wrote Boyfriend Material, which is my favorite pick of 2020. And he has a book coming out this May called Rosaline Palmer Takes the Cake. And I haven't seen a lot of buzz about this book yet, but I found it on Goodreads. So apparently it's like a Great British Bake Off type of book.
Okay.
So I'm really excited. I know I love his work, and I definitely want to read some more of his backlist. So that's my 2021 pick for him this year.
All right. So, but he writes full on adult, right? He's adult.
Oh, yeah, he's adult.
Okay. Well, I might have to add him to maybe I'll add this one to my list And then I have to read it this year.
Yes, you have to. And we can talk about it.
Yes. Okay, maybe I'll add that. Let me make a note of it.
Rosalie Palmer takes the cake. Yes.
Okay. So fun. It sounds cute and British and all the fun things. Okay, I'm down.
Exactly.
So I'm going to change gears, and we're not going to be cute at all. Not cute at all. And that is You Love Me by Caroline Kepnes. It's the third book in the You trilogy. And I am so excited for this because if anyone is not aware, you've been under a rock. So Lifetime adapted You, which is the first book. And then Netflix took it. And then when Netflix got their hands on it, everyone and their mother watched it. It blew up when Netflix got it. And then they did a season 2, which is based on the second book, Hidden Bodies. So this book, Joe is at it again. Joe is a psychopath. I don't know how he gets away with murdering the amount of people he murders. He just gets infatuated with someone and takes everybody out in their perimeter, basically. He's psycho, but it's awesome reading and it's very fun. So I'm excited to see what he's up to in this installment. I'm waiting for him to go to jail.
Jail would be good for a second.
Yeah, probably won't happen though, but guess it depends on what Netflix has in the pipeline. We'll see what happens to him. Yeah, so if you want more psycho adventures, that hits shelves April 6th.
I do have one thriller on my list, Quiet in Her Bones by Nalini Singh, because I love Nalini and I read her first thriller last year and really enjoyed it. Like I've said before to you and on this podcast, I don't typically read thrillers, but I like hers. So I'm really excited to try this one. And it's coming out in February. I want to say February 26th, but I could be wrong.
Okay. That's another one I might add. See what happens? You see what's happening. And I'm like, okay, add. Okay, I got
2 books to your list.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to go back and reread the synopsis for these, and then I will make an absolute decision.
Yes.
Add. Okay, look, Tamara, stop it. Okay. Well, okay, that sounds good. So since you're talking suspense, we'll stay on that track. My next one is Heartbreak Bay. And I think it's the final book. It's by Rachel Kane. I've really enjoyed this series. It starts out with a bang. What's the series? Stillhouse Lake is the name of the series. And I think it's definitely the final book because we know she's no longer here. But I think it's an intended finale, I think.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I can just tell you a little bit about the first book, not to spoil anything, but it's about this housewife that comes home one day and cops are all around and she finds out her husband had some girl in there and she's dead.
Oh shit.
And then she finds out that he's a serial killer.
Oh shit.
Yes. And then she is accused of aiding him,
Oh shit.
Because how do you live with someone and not know they're a serial killer?
Yeah.
But she, honest to God, didn't know she was a serial killer. So her and her kids are on the run, trying to hide from, all his little nefarious people. So fun stuff. I mean, it's crazy, but it's interesting to read. And we had a lot of good book club discussions on this series. So definitely
add that to my list if I'm going to try more thrillers this year.
Yeah, Stillhouse Lake is the first book. And the finale comes out March 9th. So if you're about that, definitely check out this series. I think you'll like it.
Okay. I'm going back to happy contemporary romances. And I'm going to recommend Act Your Age, Evie Brown by Talia Hibbert. It's the third and final book in her sister trilogy. And they're just so cute and sweet. And all of the sisters, Evie Brown, Chloe Brown, and then the middle sister, whose name I'm forgetting right now, is in the title. The cover is yellow. I'm just blanking. I'm sorry, guys.
That book is on my list, the second one, because I read the first one, but I never got to the second one. Oh, Take a Hint, Danny.
Take a Hint, Brandon. Yeah, that's it. The first two are really cute, and I'm definitely going to read this third one, and it comes out in February, I think. February or March. No, I love all of her stuff. I've read her entire backstory or backlog. I can't speak today. I've read all of Talia's books, and I know I'm going to read this one because it's just all so cute.
I thought her first book that I did read was super cute. I just wish the hero wasn't so Outlander. I mean, he was so Outlander to me. I'm like, oh my God. Was the second book, was that hero kind of like the same kind of guy, or was he completely different?
He was very different. I thought the first guy was more abrupt is the word that I'm thinking of, but I don't know if that really fits.
Well, that's why I'm like, he's brash, like Outlanders, like these Scots out there, like, I mean, he's just wilding out. That's how I feel about him. I don't know why, but.
No, I definitely like the second book better than the first one, and I really enjoyed the first one.
Okay. So, awesome.
Yes.
That's
book three. Book 3, I'm definitely going to read.
Okay. Maybe I'll come back to it. It's on my list still, but it's 2020, so I don't have to do
it. You don't.
Okay, so next, I'm going to talk about one that is like another series that's near and dear to our hearts, and it's probably on both of our lists, of course, which is Wild Sign by Patricia Briggs. This is the 6th book in the Alpha and Omega series.
Oh my God.
Yes, and this is the offshoot to the Mercy Thompson series that we have read extensively here, on this podcast. But I can't believe it's been like 2 years since we've had an Alpha and Omega book. So maybe 3. Wow. It's been 2 or 3 years.
It's been a while.
Yeah. So I'm like, we got to catch up with Charles and Anna. See what's going on with them. I know.
I love them. I love them almost as much as I love Mercy. Like, they're really good. It's very different from Mercy, but I love this series.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I think Anna is a lot more mature than Mercy. And I like that.
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Anna can hold her own.
Oh, yeah, she can. I love her. And that comes out in March. So I'm excited. I'll be reading that right away. No question there.
Oh, definitely. I'll be binging it as soon as I get my hands on it.
Yes.
So my next book is also the 3rd book in a trilogy, and it's First Comes Like by Alicia Rye. And I just adore her writing styles. And this whole trilogy has just been really, really cute. And the second book of the series was actually like a kind of almost quarantining book before quarantine was a thing. Mm-hmm. The heroine in that book had to go live off from the home. But anyway, no, she writes really well. Lots of good friend series, found families. It's incredibly diverse. We kind of talked about that on the 3 Bloggers 1 series show recently, but yeah, no, her books are fantastic.
Oh, wow. Okay. And she's another one that I added on my list and I haven't gotten around to, but she's on there and the book is on my shelf, the first one. I'm like, Tamara, you got all these contemporary romances to get to. Like, when are you going to read these? Come on, get with it. But okay. I like that. So I'll definitely make note to bump that up the list.
Yes.
At this rate, I might get over 70 books at this rate.
I'll just keep giving you books and giving you books and giving you more.
Yes, and if they're really good, I'll just keep consuming them and I'll be like, oh my God, I read so many books this year.
That's the goal.
All right, so my next one is, again, another series, and I've talked about this series here on the podcast and other situations. It is A Quart of Silver Flames, which is the 4th book in A Quart of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. And we know I love her books, and this is another massive installment. 648 pages.
Oh my God.
She writes these Bible heavy books, like they are chunkers. And February 16th, it comes out. And this is actually, I'm curious to see how I'm going to like this because it's not around our main couple of Roseanne and Feyre that everyone just loves. I mean, if Roseanne was a real person, Feyre would have some competition. Let me just say that. But this one, it seems like it's more focused on her sister Nesta and Cassian. And we know Cassian has like been crushing on Nesta for books, but Nesta is so bad and she's so evil acting toward people. She is like the bitchiest bitch of bitch to people. And like, why do you even like her? I don't understand, but okay. We might get to see another side of Nesta in this book. So that's what I'm hoping for. And I hope that I really like Nesta and Cassian together, because I'm sure they're going to end up together, because that's just what Sarah J. Maas does. So we shall see. So that's another heavy duty book coming out February. There's a lot of early on in the year, man. There's a lot.
I was going to say, I haven't read that series yet, but it's been on my to be read pile for years and years, and you keep raving about it. So I might try to binge the series this year.
It's so good. But this is also one that I told you the first book was okay. It was like she was trying to find her footing. But the second book, it's like, oh my God, oh Lord, this is amazing. So just remember that.
That's the best. I will keep that in mind.
Yes.
Okay, so my last book is once again a third book in a series, The Heart Principle by Helen Hong. Again, contemporary romance. And her books are so emotional but funny almost.
Okay.
They're very sweet and very, the first book in the trilogy, The Kiss Quotient, is about a woman who is she autistic? Or I think she's autistic. And she doesn't understand what sex is. So she hires a male prostitute to like teach her about sex.
Oh, snap.
And it's done so well. And it was just so beautifully written. That was her debut novel, which was fantastic. Like, I've never read such an amazing debut novel. And
she fell in love with the prostitute.
Oh yeah.
Lord.
Oh, yeah. They fall in love. It's fantastic. It's like a reverse. Oh God, what's that movie? I can't think of anything today.
Pretty Woman?
Yeah, it's a reverse Pretty Woman.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's really, really good. And so the second book was about another woman who is an immigrant, and she was also somewhere on the spectrum, and she was learning to fall in love. And it's just, Helen Hong does such beautifully deep and emotional, but it's also kind of light and almost fluffy at the same time. Like, you don't feel like your heart is being put through the ringer, but it is. So I just can't praise her enough. It's amazing. And I'm so excited for The Heart Principle, which comes out in August. So I have a few months to wait before it comes out.
Okay, nice. All righty, cool. So the next one I have is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. And this is actually a prequel to The Hate U Give.
Oh, wow.
So we get to like see her parents when they are like 17. So we know, the daddy is like, Maverick is like, ugh. So I'm curious to see how he was when he was younger, and they get together and they have this baby real young. So I'm curious to see. It's already out. It came out, by the time this airs, it comes out the day before we air this. So it comes out January 12th. So I probably won't be reading it right away, but it's on my list for this year. And I like Angie Thomas's style, so it should be interesting if nothing else.
It should be really good.
And I do have one bonus. I got to put this bonus on here because it's totally out of left wing for me. And I just think I'm going to like it because I've had good experiences with this author in the past. And it is a historical fiction title. Yeah. Be shocked and amazed.
Very shocked.
But it's The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I've read two other books by her. So this book takes place in 1934 in Texas. So it takes place during a drought. And so I think she's trying to figure out, the main, heroine is trying to figure out, well, do I stay here, fight for my land, or do I cut and run for like California or whatever. So,
that's
we'll see how, it comes out February 2nd. We'll see. And I'm sure like if I wait long enough, it'll be chosen for book club. It's always her books are always book club reads. So if I just hang out for a minute, I don't even have to rush because someone's going to choose it for book club. Because I previously read The Nightingale by her, which was very, very good. I actually rated it 5 stars. So good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I read The Great Alone by her, which I rated 4 stars. And that was crazy because it took place in Alaska. And I'm like, Alaska. It made me realize I never want to live in Alaska. But I definitely give props to those that do.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, I've had good experiences with her books. And I know, like I said, I just know it's going to pop up on a book club list. So there you go.
It'll be fun.
Do you have one more you want to throw up? I know you got a ton.
I mean, I have so many books. I can't think of anything right now. I had a wild sign on, but I crossed it off because you said it. I'm sure I'll think of something in the next 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I know you will, for sure. And then you can just throw it up there. Okay.
I will.
Well, this is a great time to take a quick break. When we return, we are going to share the readers' react, and we'll just have more conversation of whatever comes up. You know how we do. Stay with us. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. All right, welcome back, guys. So like I said earlier, we have a couple of Readers React comments, and we asked that you share 1 or 2 of your anticipated books released in 2021. And in Shelf Addiction Official, Jackie B said she just asked her library to order Persephone Station by Stina Licht. I hope I pronounced that right. Leicht. And Laura by Alexandra Bracken. And Laura's on my list as well. It's just not the top list, but
yeah, both of those are on my list too. Persephone Station is a sci-fi book, which I usually don't read, but it looks good.
And now the only reason I didn't add that, because first, let me say the cover art is bomb. It's like, this looks so interesting to me. It's like a space opera. And they said it was for fans of The Mandalorian, which I liked, and Cowboy Bebop. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Okay, I don't know. I don't like cowboy stuff. So that kind of alarmed me. And then I saw 512 pages. And I was like, put the brakes on. Because I don't want to commit to that. But if I hear, like, after Jackie reads it, or after a few more people that I know read it, if they say it's really good, then I'll be willing to, check it out. But only, again, because my rule about 2021. So I'm just not adding stuff willy-nilly. I got to hear some cosigns before I commit.
Yes. No, definitely. I'm going to try it at some point, so I'll let you know.
Please do. And of course, Laura by, Alexandra Bracken is really popular. She's known for a couple of her other series. And I always like a good mythology thing, but I haven't come across one recently, not in a while. Not since Rochelle Mead did her Game Board of the Gods, which I really liked. And she never wrote, she wrote 2 books and just dropped it.
I read that.
Yeah, I liked it. Actually, there's an old review of both of those books on my YouTube channel. Lord have mercy. Back when I was showing my face on the internet like a crazy person.
You'll find it.
Oh my God. But I really like those. It's kind of mythology and stuff. And more sounds interesting. Yes, it's why is it? Yes, YA, of course, but we'll see. I feel like because it's, about mythology, it may feel a little bit older. I don't think the girl's in school. I don't know. Don't get me to lie. I only read a little bit of the synopsis.
That's okay.
But thank you, Jackie, for those suggestions, and I hope you enjoy them.
Yes. All right. So Tina, she said that she's excited to read No Holding Back by Lori Foster, and then Yes, and I Love You by Ronnie Lauren, which both of those are contemporary romances, and they're both coming out kind of early. I think the Lori Foster one said January, and Ronnie Lauren's is in maybe May.
Mm-hmm.
I've read several of Ronnie's books, and they're fantastic. The last few years, she had a series of books about adults who went through a high school shooting, and it's 10 years later, and they're still dealing with the aftermath of that shooting.
Wow.
One of the heroines had been shot during it, and so she has a permanent limp. And they all have PTSD, and it was just a fantastically written series.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited, and I will probably read Yes, and I Love You. I have no idea what it's about. I don't think it'll be that.
But there is one book. Since we have a little bit of time left, I figured I'd whip out my Goodreads account. If you want to do the same, Casey, we can whip out, look at our Goodreads.
Yes. Oh, yes.
There is one book on here, and I kind of want to read it, although I said I wasn't going to read any more of this woman's books. But the cover is pulling me in, and I'm so curious, but I feel like in my bones, I should just leave it. Can you guess what it is? We talked about this author before. I'll just tell you.
Yeah, just tell me.
It's the new book in the Fever series. And I'm like, I'm so curious. But I'm like, damn it. I said I wasn't going to read this woman anymore. Like, I shouldn't do it. No, I'm sad.
Don't give her money.
I mean, I feel sad. Like, why? Because, like, why do you have to be that way? Because I'm telling you, I've invested so much time into this freaking Fever series. Mm-hmm. It makes me mad. It's like especially when things were still going pretty good, they were still getting like 4-star ratings for me, like all the way up until the 10th book. And this is book 11. Because I read the 10th book came out in 2018. So that was 2 years ago.
Oh my God.
So I was enjoying this series. And then I found out what I found out. And now I was like, I should not read her. But now I'm pissed. I'm like, I invested 10 books into this series.
I know. Oh my God.
I'm so mad. That angers me. Why do you have to be like that, lady? Why you have to be like that? Have you ever had that like feeling like where you've invested time and you enjoyed the writing and then they do something crass and you're like, why?
I read the first 5 books by her and I love them. I also read all of her historical Highlander stuff too, which was, cutesy historical Highlander stuff and apparently tied into the later books. But no, I loved her too. And then she showed her colors and I was like, no.
I hate when that happens. Like, stop it. Damn you.
Flip side, because I'm a petty ass bitch. I am very satisfied when an author I hate shows her entire ass to the world and then everybody cancels her. Do you have any idea who I'm talking about? Because there's
no
this
clue.
One author. I'm going to call her out. Jamie Maguire.
Oh, what'd she do?
Oh, she is trash fucking fire. Like, she has been an awful person for years. She's horribly racist. And then when there was a terrorist attack on our Capitol, she came out and said that it was the revolution we needed and that the second Civil War is coming. And she's very happy.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Yeah. I've read 2 of her books and I thought they were both trash.
I always thought her books were trash, but she's been saying shit like this for years. She's said awful things when Black people got shot in the streets. She's very fucking racist. She's very homophobic. She's just like, she's an anti-vaxxer. So if you mention anything about vaccines or anything, and that's been going on for years. for years.
I'm mad. Why'd I wait? Okay, so the last time I read a book from her was like 2013. 2013, I read 2 books from her, and I thought they were both garbage, but I only read them for like book club.
Yeah.
And one was like a rewrite of the first book from the male's perspective. I'm like, this is the same fucking book. The same fucking book.
I hate that so much. Yeah, no.
So
I read one book by her, Beautiful Disaster, I think it is.
Yeah, that was
whatever that. It was terrible. I hated it. And then she started showing her ass everywhere, and people are finally like, oh, I guess she's not a good person.
Yeah, I'm looking at her thing on Goodreads. It looks like she hasn't really published anything since like 2015.
That's good.
She went into a hole or something.
She went to Parlor.
Oh my God. You know what? Oh my God. So, oh my fucking God. Anyway. Yeah. Okay. So what else?
I found another book. Okay. So this is going to be one of my nonfiction reads of 2021. This book is coming out in May, and it's called We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rogers. She's a Black woman who is trying to empower other women, women of color, non-binary people, and people like any sort of people of color, minorities, et cetera, to become millionaires. And she is absolutely fantastic. I've been following her on Instagram and her podcast, and she's just so inspiring. So I usually don't read. Hello 7, I think.
Okay.
With Rachel Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's fantastic. The book cover is also, fantastic. It's a Black woman on a cover, and you're just like, yes, we should be millionaires.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm getting 80s vibes off this cover art.
It's very 80s.
Yeah.
Those giant earrings.
Yeah, with the lace. Oh yeah, I'm getting the 80s vibes. I'm down. It's cute.
Yeah, that's going to be one of my nonfiction reads. Okay. One of my 5.
Well, it comes out in May, so do let me know how it is.
Absolutely.
If she has some good info in there or not. That's nice.
I hope she does.
Yeah. Good deal. And she's on a major, she's on HarperCollins. So you go. You go, girl. You do it. I love to see that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Have you ever read Alex Finlay? You probably haven't, because he's a thriller.
The name is vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try one of his books this year, one of his new releases. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've seen his name a couple of times, maybe one other time. But the early reviews are really good, so I might give his book a try. It's called Every Last Fear.
Ooh.
And wow. The quoted sentence from the book says they found the bodies on a Tuesday. Oh Lord. That sounds very excellent. Like, what starts with they found the bodies on a Tuesday?
That sounds really good.
Yeah, I'm like, interesting. Wow. So this guy comes back and his whole family is dead. That's what it looks like from the synopsis. Yikes. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna add it. That looks like I'll try him. The early reviews look really good.
And let me know if it's really good.
Okay, it comes out in March, so it's a little ways away still, but definitely. Oh, and then of course, another Sarah J. Maas book comes out in November. Her second Crescent City book, but it's untitled at this time. But that's, follow up to Crescent City that came out in 2020. Crescent City was pretty good. It was very different than her other stuff, I think. I liked it. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for this. They're going to have some big reveal, I'm sure. They'd like to hold her cover art and make a big hoopla.
Oh, yeah. It'll probably be like September and coming out on Teen Vogue or something.
I'm telling you, she is one of these authors. They really let her do whatever she wants to do. You want to write 1,000 pages, girlfriend, you go write 1,000 pages. You do it.
She has the following though. So
yeah, they let her go wild. Although one of her books in the, oh my God, what's the name of that dang on series? And I read the series and liked it. I read it twice, actually. Oh, Throne of Glass series. One of the books in that was like a total bomb, in my opinion. And it was like really long. And it was when she got away from her main characters. So that's why I'm a little concerned about this new one, because she's veering away from the heart of the book. So that's what it was. Tower of Dawn, book 6 from that series. She kind of strayed away, and we got to spend time with other characters that no one really gives that much two shits about. So, I mean, it wasn't horrible. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real. It wasn't horrible, but it definitely wasn't, when you want to hear about certain people and you don't get it, it's like,
oh, it's so annoying.
Yeah. So I hope that's not how it is here. I hope we get enough of the other characters we care about so that we won't feel like we're missing something.
Yes.
So we'll see. I'll be the first one to tell y'all what's what. I'll lay it out there. I'm nobody's fangirl. I don't care who it is.
Call it like it is.
Yeah, I do. And if it's glorious, I'll call that too. I'll be like, it's the best thing since sliced bread. You must read it. Yes. Okay, I don't think I have anything else exciting on my list, really. Do you have anything?
Not that I can think of or see. I'm sure, as we move through 2021 and we hear about more releases, I'll get excited about stuff, but nothing that I can think of right now.
Yeah, I'm going to probably tune out the new release articles and stuff. And it has to like organically come to me from someone that has read something. Just because what I'm trying to do with my goals this year, I'm like, I don't really need to be perusing, looking for random things to add.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I still do want to catch up on a lot of the things I said I wanted to read last year. And then, of course, all of the Buddy Reads titles, all of our fantasy series titles. It's like the availability is becoming very narrow for the book club titles. So then the extra fluff reading, it's a slim pickings.
Yep.
Yeah. So I gotta choose with what's the word? With discriminating taste.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's all we have for today. Anything else?
Yes, so.
No?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. Well, you guys, please hit us up on social media. Join Shelf Addiction Official. Let us know what you're excited for this year. And God forbid I add one more book to that TBR, but it may happen. Never say never.
Never say never.
Convince me and I'll add it. And so that's it for today, guys. And we will catch you next month. And until then, take care of yourselves.
Bye. Happy reading.
If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review, or like this episode on your favorite podcast player. It seems so simple, but it really helps me out. You can share this podcast with other book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. You can also join the Shelf Addiction Patreon family. For as little as $2 a month, you will help us produce even more awesome content for your ears. You can also consider joining the Shelf Addiction Official Facebook group, where we talk all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction Podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. You can also reach us via email at info@shelfaddiction.com. Thank you for listening.